Hello, hello, hello. We are here. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Z in the Nosebleeds podcast. It is October 1st, 2025. It's fall in Colorado, and I'm as ready to yap sports as I will ever be. My name is Zachy. I will be your host of the show. I'm not a journalist. I don't pretend to want to be. I'm just a fan like you. I love our teams, and I have very strong opinions about them. And we all know that the world needs, more than anything, another podcast from someone who has an opinion. So you're all benevolently welcome. So what is the show? Z in the Nosebleeds is your ticket to the cheap seats. It's the best view in the house. All things Colorado sports, straight up and unfiltered. From Mile High to the Mountains, Zachy will break down the highs, lows, and everything in between with all the passion that a fan can bring and a front row sense of humor. I'm just here to watch sports and vibe with you people, so vibe with me. Maybe you'll love these takes. Roast me if you don't. We are all in this together. Whether you bleed burgundy and blue, orange and navy and gold, or even purple and black, this is the podcast that will put you right in the action, nosebleeds and all. Coming up, we will talk about the Broncos' Week 4 win against the Bengals and the beginning of the season coming up for the Avs. But first, let's yap a little baseball. The Rockies, the Colorado Rockies. The MLB postseason is underway, and our Rockies are, as usual, not involved. 2025 marked the worst season in franchise history for the Colorado Rockies, to the tune of 43 wins and 119 losses. It is the third consecutive 100-loss season for this team, and what an accomplishment that is. I mean, genuinely. Wow. During this season, we saw the firings of hitting coach Hensley Mullins, manager Bud Black, along with the promotion of former manager Clint Hurdle to the bench coach to assist first-time skipper Warren Schaefer. All things considered, Schaefer didn't do so bad. I mean, he was all right. Good vibes guy. It's obviously not an easy job to bail water out of an already sunk ship with a colander. So some credit due to Warren Schaefer for the effort and the attitude that he brought to the job in 2025. Will he be the manager in 2026? We don't know right now. And why don't we know? Well, the news of the day today is that General Manager Bill Schmidt has resigned his position as GM for the Colorado Rockies. Schmidt was named interim GM in 2021. He was appointed to the role permanently at the end of that season. He famously inherited the steaming heap of bad vibes that was this organization at the end of the Jeff Bridich era, which unceremoniously ended after Bridich traded franchise cornerstone Nolan Arenado and $50 million to the St. Louis Cardinals for a group of guys who are no longer on this roster, never panned out, total stinker. And Schmidt, when he started in the job, right, to his credit, inherited this total pile of nonsense that was this organization. Did he do well with that pile of nonsense? I would say no, but that's where he started. As GM, Schmidt posted a .355 win percentage and led the team to 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons. In 2022, he famously signed Chris Bryant to a 7-year, $182 million contract, which so far has been good for a .244 batting average, 17 home runs, negative 1.6 wins above replacement, and 478 regular season games lost due to injury. In my humble opinion, as a couch observer, it's the worst contract in the history of the franchise and arguably one of the worst contracts offered in baseball during the modern era. There's not much more to say about that. It's tough to look at the Bill Schmidt era and find really anything to say other than ew. Yikes. And of course, as usual, it would be unbecoming of Dick Monfort to actually fire anyone. So, Schmidt doing the honorable thing to resign. Hats off, honestly, because he probably would have had a job next year if Dick Monfort had anything to say about it. It will surprise me personally beyond belief if he hires a new GM whose last name isn't also Monfort. But signs from the organization indicate that an external search is underway for the next general manager. Per the team, we are setting our sights on finding the right leader from outside our organization who can bring a fresh perspective to the Rockies and enhance our baseball operations with a new vision, innovation, and a focus on both short-term and long-term success. Well, isn't that a statement that is not like anything we've probably ever heard from the Rockies organization before? Personally, I'll wait, like all of the Rockies fans, with bated breath to see who we'll all need to put our trust in to right this ship. Hats off to whoever actually wants this job, because it's climbing Everest. It's K2. It's really, really hard starting from here and ending up in a competitive and watchable team. Because that's the thing. The Rockies don't even need to be good. They need to be watchable. Right now, this season it is so bad that it was just unwatchable. And whoever actually wants to be in this job has such a steep hill to climb to bring this team back into relevance and into an era that we can all be proud to say, yeah, we stuck with this and we watched it. In the meantime, it's not fair to have any expectations for this club in the next few seasons. It's been truly so long since it feels like this team was relevant. There were playoff appearances in the late teens, 2009, obviously. But it has been 18 years since the Rockies' great Rocktober 2007 season. It is 18 years to the day today, the day of this recording, that the Rockies beat the San Diego Padres in game 163, the tiebreaker game, to clinch a playoff spot, a last wild card spot, to go on and face Philadelphia in the first round of that postseason. Um, and I was at that game, and I thought it would be fun to share the story of how I ended up at that game and how it went. The day before, the Rockies needed to win, and they also needed the Milwaukee Brewers to beat the San Diego Padres. Um, and I skipped school and went to the game with my dad. And we went to the game. We had seats in the upper right field pre-rooftop bleachers. We got tickets to the game. We went. Ubaldo Jimenez pitched great in a starting role. And the Rockies ended up winning. At the same time, they were showing highlights from the Padres game. The Padres lost, so we knew that with the Rockies win, game 163 was on. And we ran down the stairs of Coors Field from the right field deck to get in line at will call to buy tickets for game 163. We got the tickets, left field bleachers. The starting pitching for the Rockies in the tiebreaker was the Dragon Slayer, Josh Fogg, against arguably one of the best pitchers in the National League that year, Jake Peavy. And genuinely, this night was the best baseball game. It was the best sporting event that I have ever seen in my entire life. On tenterhooks all night. It's 12-year-old me. I'm a wreck. It's a must-win game in a time in my life where obviously the Rockies had never done anything before, and I didn't really know what it felt like as a kid to actually experience and feel what it was for a team to have the potential to do something and actually have a chance at winning and what that felt like. So it's late in the game. You know, the Rockies have had their ups and downs. They had a call not go their way on a Garrett Atkins double that should have been a home run. I saw it hit the chair right in front of me. As a 12-year-old, I stood on the bleachers in the pavilion and I screamed unholy, ungodly things at the umpires for that game, much to the entertainment of all of the people sitting in that section and the horror of my parents. In the 11th inning of this game, I was so tweaked out and stressed out, it's tied, that I told my dad, I'm like, I need to go for a walk. I need food. I need something. So he gives me some cash. I run up. I grab a hot dog from the vendor. I go over to the ketchup thing and I squirt ketchup all over my shirt. I am covered in ketchup when I return to my seat. So it looks like I've obviously been shot and it's crazy. And that's the scene. I am covered in ketchup. The Rockies bring Jorge Julio in to pitch the top of the 13th inning, and he immediately walks a guy and then gives up the loudest home run. And by the loudest, what I mean is that the entire building was silent. Coors Field was dead silent. 50,000 people silent. And from the left field bleachers, I could hear the Padres dugout celebrating the fact that they had gone up 8-6, top of the 13th. And just the wind of this whole Rocktober run is out of their sails. But for Kaz Matsui, who steps up, bottom of the 13th. Line drive double. Troy Tulowitzki, line drive double. Matt Holliday triples off the right field wall, and the place is going crazy. It's the most electric crowd I've ever been in. I mean, people don't know how to feel. It's so electric. And then the hero among heroes, the unsung hero, light hitting utility infielder, the old guy, Jamie Carroll, steps up, pokes one to Brian Giles in right field. The best arm in right field in the game at the time. Lasers one home. And Matt Holliday infamously slides under the tag of Michael Barrett. Umpire Tim McClelland gives the safe signal, and the Rockies have won and are on to the National League Division Series against the Philadelphia Phillies. What a moment. Again, 18 years to the day. It's the last time I felt something other than pain about the Colorado Rockies. So here is to the future for this team that hopefully, starting with the general manager resigning today, is brighter than it was at the end of this yet another 100-loss season. Here's to the Rockies. Let's hope for brighter days. Switching topics, let's talk about the Broncos. Yours and my Denver Broncos. Football is back. Week 5 is coming up, and the Broncos are 2-2. A Week 1 win against the Tennessee Titans looked really a lot closer than I think it should have. Week 2, a last-second heartbreaker on the road against the Danny Dimes Indianapolis Colts. Week 3, last-second heartbreaker on the road against the Los Angeles Chargers in a game that I hate losing because Chargers home games are so frequently overrun by Broncos fans to the point where the whole crowd is a sea of orange. It feels like a home game. That's a win that you want to have on the road. And then last week, a Week 4 thump on the Burrow-less Bungles. Broncos fans, how do we feel 4 weeks in? As far as me, I feel fine. We're in the throes of the early season Sean Payton experience. We have been here. We know what this is. There's lumps. The potential's there. The team looks okay. The defense looks terrific under probably future head coach again, probably not Denver, but somewhere, having the time of his life, Vance Joseph. Again, we've seen this movie. We know how it goes. The Broncos are sitting at 500 early in the season, and right now I don't think there's anything to necessarily worry about. 2 winnable games get away. You hate to see it. Put your head down, move on. Going into the season, I don't think that the Broncos would have been the favorite against the Bengals if Joe Burrow was healthy, so getting one there in decisive fashion feels really good. Up next, in a short week, is the reigning tush-push champion Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles. Not to be forgotten, but last season the Eagles, I think, did the world a service on a night where Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show performance greatly overshadowed the actual football game. But indeed, the Eagles did what they needed to do to shut Chiefs fans up. Finally, we salute the birds for that. And boy, what fun would it be for the Donkeys to take one as the underdog on Thursday Night Football this week? Let's go Broncos. Switching over to the Avalanche, yours and mine, Colorado Avalanche hockey season, y'all, is back next week. 1 week from today, Tuesday, October 7, our Colorado Avalanche take on Zassi Kempa and the Los Angeles Kings at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles to kick off another high expectation season with a core that boasts two of the three best players in all of hockey, that being our Kings Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. And to put it bluntly, last season ended with a fizzle, a total, complete, debilitating, dehumanizing bummer of an end. Former Av and four-legged antlered Finn Mikko Rantanen scores a third-period hat trick in Game 7 of the first round to propel the Dallas Stars onward. And for the second season in a row, Dallas mops the Avs in a playoff series, leaving us fans with more questions than answers. And as another season goes by with a core that very realistically should be competing for a Stanley Cup every single season. 2 years ago, it felt like that loss to Dallas in the second round was inevitable. I was at the Game 6 double overtime Matt Duchene heartbreaker loss that ended the Avs season in the second round. In that series, we saw Val Nichushkin get suspended for 6 months for violating the terms set by the Players' Assistance Program. Watching the team as that game went deeper and deeper into the night, it just looked like everyone was out of gas. The whole arena knew that Dallas goal was coming. Inevitably, it did. Matt Duchene skates across our center ice logo, draws a heart, punches it. Tough way to go, but again, it felt like it was coming. It felt like that season was totally out of gas. This last season's loss, again to Dallas, to me hurts way more. Riding high on the captain's return, Gabe Landeskog comes back, the lineup's improved, the goaltending's improved, everybody's generally healthy. You know, say what you will about Gabe's knee at the time and how strong it really was, the team was generally healthy. The Avs left wins on the board in this series. You know, a couple overtime losses. The way it ended just absolutely reeks. So to that I say yuck, no thank you. No thank you, Mikko Rantanen. No thank you, City of Dallas. No thank you, anything that putrid shade of Victory Green that I hate. I, for one, am ready to eviscerate the sting of this elimination once and for all from my memory, from my record. And I think this Avs team entering the 2025 season is stung just like the rest of us and hungry to prove that they're still one of the top teams in the league. It's been a really interesting offseason, I think, and I have some highlights. Chief of which is that Gabe Landeskog is healthy. In fact, as of this recording, he has scored a goal in a preseason game against the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Gabe is back, baby. He dropped the gloves in a game last week. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go. He's ready to be physical, and there is no stopping him right now. The impact this has, not just on the locker room, on team morale, on vibes emanating from Ball Arena, and on my own personal mental health, cannot be overstated. There are great players on this team, but I'd argue that Gabe is the most important of them all as a voice, as an absolute dude in front of the net, causing havoc, contributing to a role the team has been missing since the start of the 22-23 season. Gabe's back. Can't say it enough how huge this is for the team. Let's talk about Grandpa Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson is the 2C starting this season. The Avs team Grandpa decided to stick around Colorado to the tune of 3 years, $7.5 million per, and will be the most veteran, established, and probably talented second-line center the Avs have had since 2022 with our old friend Nazem Kadri. Too many men. Is this good? Objectively, statistically, vibrationally, yeah, probably. Brock Nelson being the 2C, being here, being signed, is good. I am a little worried that at 33 going on 34, Brock Nelson, his best years, are they behind him? I don't know. He spent his entire career playing for the Islanders in a system that can only be described as terrible trap-style hockey that is boring and uncreative and generally sedative for the viewer. He did not stand out in the Four Nations tournament, and coming over to the Avs at the deadline, I do think maybe I wish he had shown a little more for us down the stretch than he really did. No goals in the postseason. He was responsible for setting up the absolutely electric goal by Landeskog in Game 4. his first goal back in an Avs sweater. And it's going to be interesting to see how Brock's chemistry with Landeskog on that second line continues to develop going forward. I'm hoping that there's plenty of gas left in his tank and Nelson will be a contributor for all 3 years in that contract. Hoping that age is not catching up to a man who looks like he is 1,000 years old and a Civil War general. Brock Nelson. Things that I'm excited about, the bottom 6 is shaping up as we wind down the end of preseason. It's looking like a third line centered by Jack Drury with Ross Colton and free agent newcomer Victor Olofsson on the wings. Pretty well set in stone. Some offense there, some creativity. I like it. As well as a fourth line centered by new Russian guy, Zakhar Bardakov, with Parker Kelly and Yoel Kiviranta on the wings. Is likely the expectation. I won't be surprised if this guy, Gavin Brindley, who we got for Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood, gets a nice look there in the bottom 6 as well. He's had an electric preseason, scoring goals, doing what he needs to do to deserve more of a look and prove he might have a little more offensive touch in the bottom half of the lineup. I like it. It shows that there's depth on this team. And that's something that we have not had at the start of a season in what feels like so long, like forever. Last season, the opening lineup featured names that you've heard, like Ivan, Nikolai Kovalenko, Callum Ritchie, Chris Wagner, Calvin DeHaan. It featured both Alexander Georgiev, who got yanked shortly into the second period for being a sieve, and Justus Annunen, 2 goalies who are no longer with the team. So lots of big changes, lots of different names in the starting lineup, but, those names that we have back this year are Arturi Lehkonen. He started last year injured. Landeskog, obviously. Val Nichushkin, who started last year in the player assistance program. Marty Necas is in there. The only guy missing from the lineup right now is Logan O'Connor, and he's on skates. He's a few months from being back to full speed and in the lineup, coming off a hip surgery. So things are looking good, feeling good. A question mark that I have going forward regarding the woodshed, Mackenzie Blackwood, who's been battling an off-season injury and by the looks of things may not be ready to open the season next week. That'll leave us with Scott Wedgwood as the starter, with Trent Miner as the backup until Blackwood can return. I'll go on record right now, right here, as a big Mackenzie Blackwood guy. I love Mackenzie Blackwood. I love his mentality. I love his composure. I love that he's a giant in the net. He's stable. He's not all over the place and discombobulated, as our former last year starter often was. He's genuinely the antithesis to Alexander Georgiev, and, the way that he plays is just so steady. It reminds me of Darcy Kemper in 2022. It reminds me of a guy who could just be counted on to be solid. The huge question mark on Mackenzie Blackwood, which it has been his entire career, is whether he can stay healthy. The best season in Mackenzie Blackwood's career to date was this last one, 2024-2025, season split between San Jose and Colorado. 56 games played is his career high, with a .255 goals against average, a .912 save percentage, and 18.1 goals saved above average. All of those are the best in his career. Stalwart stuff, NHL starting goalie caliber, fantastic. Every season in his career before this, Blackwood was in a tandem or dealing with injuries. He's never accommodated the workload of being an NHL starter for a Stanley Cup contender like this. I think we all should just light some candles and do some voodoo and hope that this year he shows us he can repeat that performance and handle it, especially in the playoffs. Goalies are witchcraft. I encourage all my listeners to participate in that. Buy in, be weird. It helps. I promise. Scott Wedgwood is certainly a fantastic NHL backup. He's shown he can hold it down as a starter for a stretch in case of injury or if Blackwood's game goes to hell. With Colorado last year, Wedgie was 13-4-1 with a .917 and a .199 goals against average, which for an NHL backup, that is phenomenal. You cannot ask for more out of your backup goalie. Great stuff. Again, the Avs kick things off against LA next Tuesday. It'll finally be time to move on from this long, glacially slow offseason. Get going on firing up another run for the Cup. Let's go, Avs! Speaking of Ball Arena, let's talk a little Nuggets shortly. Nuggets preseason is underway as well. Opening night for your Nuggets is October 23rd against the Golden State Warriors. It'll be the first season for the Nuggets under newly minted head coach David Adelman with new leadership team in the general manager's office. We love to see it. I think all of that is good things in the fallout of the Mike Malone era and the way that it ended. We don't need to talk about it. We all know what happened, and we are moving on. On the topic of good vibes emanating from Ball Arena, we can talk about what's obviously the best offseason addition to the Nuggets this year. Is it Cam Johnson acquired from the Nets for Michael Porter Jr.? Big fan of this deal. Big Cam Johnson guy. No. How about Tim Hardaway Jr.? A little veteraniness and some shooting ability. We like that off the bench, but no. The dramatic acquisition of Jonas Valanciunas as a guy who can actually play real minutes off the bench for Jokic, who we don't need to be on the court for 48 minutes a night. Love that, but that's not it. I just want to give a shout out to my cowboy, Bruce Brown. I am so stoked that Bruce is back, all vibes, all the time. I don't care if he plays 1 minute a game. Bruce Brown on the bench is better for this Nuggets team, and I am stoked. That's the second best thing that happened all offseason. The best thing, obviously, bar none, the return of the Black City Edition uniforms, white text, white mountains, rainbow skyline, black background. There has not been a City Connect uni as solid as these in the history of the City Connect uniforms, and the stoke to see them back is through the roof. It's the Nuggets' best uniform in the rotation. Really happy to see it back. Really happy to probably go buy a Christian Brown in that color this year. Let's go. Nuggets are coming up. I'm loving the direction of it. Getting the season going. We'll talk more in future episodes about the Nuggies. With that, that's about it for this week in Colorado sports talk. We can touch on a couple other topics. The PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, released their schedule today, and there's some notable to-be-determined locations on games. So, high hopes here that there will be another takeover tour stop in Colorado. If you missed last year's Minnesota-Montreal, it was electric. Huge game, huge fun. If you aren't tuning into the Professional Women's Hockey League and following along, first of all, it's on YouTube, you dingus. Watch some great hockey. Second of all, the odds that Colorado gets a team in the next few seasons are looking really good, and it's important to show that we want a team here. So fire it up, people. Let's get some professional women's hockey here in Colorado. Formula One returns to Singapore this weekend, and your resident George Russell fan, one of few, is happy about a podium in the last race, and even happier to see Carlos Sainz secure the first Williams podium in a dog's age. Absolutely electric stuff. It's been a fun season for Formula One, and the title race is really between a few different drivers, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who can secure the Constructors' Championship from McLaren, with dual strong performances this weekend, and sneaky Max Verstappen charging up from who knows where in a late defense of his many consecutive Drivers' Championships. You gotta watch out for that guy, and the sexy bet right now is that Max comes up from behind and snags it away from these guys. How electric would that be? I will be attending the race in Austin on the weekend of the 17th. Very excited about that. Likely to yap for all who care. Listen, leading up and following that trip. And with that, I say to you, grab some tissues, plug that nostril. This has been the inaugural episode of Z and the Nosebleeds. This weekend I will be running a half marathon, so root for me. I hope you enjoyed, and tune again next week. Bye.